blessed by a nice day. Lovely sunrise. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. 5, half 5 I think. Today's plan is to get to Lodham. Probably have a meander around the village, maybe a coffee, depends what's there. It's quite a big village, I think. We've got plenty of time today because we've got all day to get about 20 kilometres. So that's going to be an easy day. Once we get to Lodham, it's quite nice from there as well because it sort of goes into like the wilds a little bit, right next to the waters, and there's some reservoirs and bird nesting areas and stuff like that. As I said yesterday, we are going inland at the moment. Once you get to Lodham, that's where the end of the River Chet is. Then you start going back towards back to the Yare. Following that down, goes all the way along. There's a big marina at Lodham there, I think. It's a popular place for the broad boaters. We're going to make some breakfast, a coffee. That's where the tent was last night. See where it's a bit flat? That's the only evidence that will be left when I'm here. A bit of flat grass. Don't forget, if you go wild camping, make sure you take all your rubbish with you. Take a little plastic bag for your rubbish. Put everything in there, take it with you. Keep it in your pack handy, then when you get to a bend you can empty it. If you take several one bag per day, it gets rid of your rubbish then. Obviously, when you're doing multi-day trips, as you go along, your pack actually gets a little bit lighter because of that, because you're consuming your rations. Footprints and flat grass, that's the only thing you should leave when you go wild camping. Got my rubbish in my pocket, little bag tied up. As soon as I find the nearest public bins, just go straight in there. We're on the move. Got my map. We're not far from where my thumb is there. We're going over to that large village there called Lodham. And we're going to follow the path all the way back up to the River Yare. We've got a lovely morning. It's about 6:15. It's only about an hour to Lodham. Things will start opening up at that time, so pick up some basic supplies, some drink and whatever. Maybe even have a coffee in the village. We'll get going. I've actually stopped. There's a deer. I think I'll probably do a runner before I get anywhere close. You can see me, but he's just sort of like standing there. Looks like a small muntjac. Yeah, it is a muntjac, yeah. Oh, there's two of them. I have to say, this is one of the best marked footpaths I think I've ever been on, of any walk. Anywhere there's a public footpath sign, there more or less is a sign for the Wherrymans Way. There's a few, even some of the road signs have got mentions of it. Still have to follow a map or your GPS, whatever. But I barely use the GPS. I've been using the map, printed map the whole time. I printed them off the IS Maps website because I'm a subscriber. If you subscribe to the app, then you get the website app for free as well. You can create routes and print your own maps out. That's what I do. Easiest way. We're on number 5 at the minute. Went through 4 yesterday. It's first day, the second day. I think there's about, I remember there's 12 in there. So we'll get through to about number 10 and then just leaves the last 2 for the last day. It's about 6:30 in the morning. This footpath goes all the way through to Lodham town. Just had to go across a field. Bottoms of my legs are a bit wet because it's a wheat field and they're a bit damp early in the morning. But we'll keep going. All the paths are, most of the paths have sort of been this sort of thing, like stiles. Even got the signs on there, look. Wherrymans Way. It's the first church we've come across on the walk. Nicely maintained one by the looks of it. I see a lot of parish followers. I expect this place will be busy during the summer months. Plenty of weddings. It's a big church considering the size of the village. I mean, the village is big, but it's not huge, and this church is quite something. Bigger than the average church. Quick tip when you're wild camping. If you're looking for a source of water for your camp, churches are a good place. They often have fresh water taps outside for people to use for watering the graves. This one's got one. Let's find out if it's switched off. Yep. Let it run for a bit, obviously, and then collect your water. Looks like the town centre car park. This is Lodham Stave. Looks like a popular place for people to park their boats. There's a lovely little village here. You've got a little supermarket there, Premier Inn. No, not Premier, but Premier local shop. There's also a little tea room called Rosie Lee's that does full English breakfasts and various other breakfast baps and whatever. There's also a toilet and also a shower block over there. It's supposed to open at 7 o'clock, but it's not quite open yet. Looks like they're running a bit late. I might actually hang around here for an hour. The tea room opens at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to sort of hang around here for a bit and I'll get a bacon roll before we leave. We're on a side detour out of Lodham. Normally you'd go past place called Hardley. But apparently it's permanently closed, and there's a detour path around it. It's a little bit of a pain because you're actually going back on yourself. So if you do this, rather than going out of Lodham along the footpaths along the chip, you're better off staying on the road. Go up to the cross junction, then stay on the road, especially we're walking back to the road that we walked away from. But it's sort of like going backwards, sort of like a diagonal backwards. We're actually, it's a permanent closure enough because they've changed the, I don't know why, I suspect Hardley wood area has probably been turned into a closed off nature reserve. It's either that or the owners didn't want people walking through it anymore, which happens quite regularly, unfortunately. But it's well signposted. Once you get along the river, they've added new stiles, and there's new signposts like directing you away from the route. But rather than coming down here in the first place, if you are going to do this, stay in the Lodham town, go up to the junction, and then follow the road along. Because by the time we get back to this, because we're going across diagonal, we're almost at that junction. We then have to, so I got about half a mile walk along the path, the road should I say. It picks up another footpath that takes us back onto the River Chet past the Hardley Wood area. The original route. I think this bypass, this route change is going to be permanent. There's all new stives put in, all new metal gates and things. All the signs have been amended. I don't know how long that's been in operation. Obviously the original route takes you along here. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that sign in the distance there, it says footpath closed. It looks like it's permanent. I don't know why. When I get home. So we've come to the end of the River Chet. Notice for the boaters, it's well signposted, these routes. There it says Lodham and Chedgrave, 3.5 miles. Mooring, shops and general services. If I was on a boat, I'd have gone down there. There's a nice little place to stop. You've got showers and the toilets and obviously there. Decent cafe. There's a co-op in that town and another couple of shops for resupplying your boat. Our halfway stop today is going to be more or less opposite where that factory is in the distance. I think that's a sugar beet factory. It refines sugar beet, turns it into sugar. I think our halfway stop's more or less near there. Oh, it sounds like we've got a boat coming. Let's this way, we'll see what way he goes. So he's going up towards Norwich. Very nice. Just walked up and down Hardley Dyke. Not very far. Back to the River Yare. We're getting on now. Just had a quick break stop, snack bar, take on some fluid. Got to follow this river round now till it gets round to the sugar factory. opposite the sugar factory. As you see, it's not too far. Another mill. I think that's actually a proper mill rather than a wind pump though. It's in good condition, well preserved. Looks like it's on the lean a bit though. We're at the Beauchamp Arms. Sadly it was closed. Planned pit stop there, didn't work out. It's the trouble with these walks, you're never quite sure whether anything's going to be open when you get there. But and there's another pub, it was only about a half-hour walk away, so we'll head up to there. We had a quick pit stop there. Obviously there's no drinks being served, no food. So we've navigated around. This is Rockland Broad. Broad is basically an expanse of water that opens up from one of the rivers. Further along here I think there's moorings. You have to skate around this and head up to where the moorings are. Going inland again. I think it's because there's a big nature reserve that you're not allowed on between here and the next bit of the river. There's quite a way around. Second night's camp position. There's a little copse off of the path, not far from Surlingham. Marshes. It's quite a out of the way area to be honest, because you have to scramble up the side of a hill to get to it. I don't think there's any hills in Norfolk, but this little section has got a little bit of hilliness to it. There's no houses. I looked on the map, there's no houses for at least half a mile. I assume one of the farms owns this little section of wood, but it's got no use. Doesn't look so it's looked after either. It's just like dead trees just laying around here, there and everywhere. There's a grazing field next door. There's some cattle in it, but it's all fenced off. We're not that far away from the path, but you can't see where we are because we're up a hill. The path is down there. You can see in the trees there, you can actually see the river in the distance. It's quite a good little spot. Nice camp set up. I'm going to drink now. It's about 8:30. Time's getting on. Only about another half hour light left. And jump in bed when it's dark. This is the Flame Screed version of the Lanshan one. This is the early version, single skin. Really decent tent, to be honest. I've used it quite a few times now. It's perfect for multi-day camps because it's so light to carry. Keeps me dry. Been in some horrendous weather in it before. Looks a bit odd at the minute because I've got the door tied down, which makes it funny shape. Normally the middle section comes up. Highly recommend them. Don't think you can buy this one anymore, but the modern version of the Lanshan is a really good and popular tent for